All right, we just had to let you know that this is the place to be every morning because right here we give you more than a voice. All right, so we've reestablished contact with Victor, and I think now we should be able to hear his voice as he as he gives us his opinion on the unemployment rate, the ranking of Nigeria as one of the unemployed, most unemployed, country with the most unemployed people. All right, Victor. Good morning once again.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me loud and clear now.
Well, we have Victor Atewe online and still unable to hear his voice. Well, we do hope that
Hello, can you hear me loud
this
and
will
clear
be
now?
rectified. Now, if it's a problem with your microphone, I would like for you
No,
to
it's not.
unmute so I
It's
can
not.
hear you from over here because at the moment I
It's
can't
not.
hear you.
My mic is very much on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Yeah, good morning to you.
All right then. Now I asked. The question is, when you saw the statistics with Nigeria, imagine tops. How did
How
that
did that
make you
make you
feel?
feel? To be honest with you, I want to start with the word of the Burkina Faso president, the young guy who is 35, Ibrahim, and he said it doesn't make sense. A continent so filled with gold, filled with natural resources. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I'm struggling to, but I can
I,
make
I,
out what
I
you're
hope
saying.
you can hear me right now because from my side everything is okay.
Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
so yeah, it said with a continent filled with so much natural resources, sun and human and capital, with God endowment, it doesn't make sense how we're this poor. And I want to take that cue to say that in Nigeria, being in quote now, being the giant of Africa that has all it takes, both in human and natural resources, we have this high level of unemployment. Former President General Olusegun Obasanjo said we are just sitting on a keg on the gunpowder, meaning that it is just waiting to blow. This is so alarming and it's disgraceful. Disgraceful to the sense that in the face of this economic crisis we're faced with and the high rate of unemployment in Nigeria, government is still increasing the cost of governance in the country. How would you want to explain 48 ministers with what we are faced with? This is really, really alarming. And trust me, it is just, everyday Nigerians are being plunged into poverty the more. It's alarming. And, I was discussing with a friend over the weekend last week. I was like, in the face of this economic crisis, we're having a government that is sending 48 ministers, and each ministers will have at least 10 aides, if not more, and that will be funded by the government. And here we have them telling us that we should be patient with the government as such to bear the brunt, and at the end of it, light at the end of the tunnel, but there is no glimpse of it at all. So it's really alarming and it's disgraceful as a nation that we have this high rate of unemployment in the country. And do not forget, 70% of our populations are youth. So what happens to them? The criminal rate will increase. We're here just to see what's going to happen, and it's going to be alarming.
All right. Now, uh, would you think the rate of unemployment in Nigeria is as a result of its population? Because we do have, I don't know, do you think it's as a result of the population or could there
No,
be
no, no, no. The
actual lack of
population,
jobs?
the population is a blessing. How would you? What would you say about China? Over a 2 billion population, we're just over 250 million. If that serves me right, the population should be a blessing, but it's just the inability of the government to utilize its youthful population. I mean, To be honest, government cannot provide job for the people. Yes, we understand. But the duty of a government is to provide a living environment with the right economic policy, make sure that people can survive. Do you know what it takes for you to run a production company in Nigeria right now? The cost to produce in this country, it's expensive. It's like times three to produce outside of this country. Now, as we speak right now, as we speak right now, the companies are closing down. GSK, as of last week, just announced that they're moving out of Nigeria. So what does that tell you? GSK is one of the private-owned company that has one of the highest employer of labor in Nigeria. So if they lay off those people, now what happens? So
All
it's
right.
really it goes back to the poor economic policy, and of course the poor sensitivity of our government and its agencies to fixing the right policy and the right things to help the youth, to the right policy to help our environment so as to grow the economy.
All right.
The,
So
the,
what are
the, the
these?
population is a blessing. It's never a cost.
All right. So what are the policies that government can put in place and implement right away that will help solve these unemployment issues?
Now, if you read through the speech of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that says over 75 billion naira be budgeted for 75, manufacturers as a matter of urgency, without wasting time. The government needs to start. We need to start seeing work. It is enough of the talk. It is more of the doing. Let's go back. Let's work. The table. You see, one of the policies the government needs to do, you understand, show that it feels the brunt of the people and the hardship being cursed by this current subsidy removal and its effect is one down on the cost of governance. We are clamoring we don't have money, we're saving. Our savings is it meant to fund government SSS? Or to be plunged back into economy, create more loans for, help, SMEs to grow at 0%, more grants for the SMEs. Our manufacturers need to be well funded so as to have the capacity to employ people. That's what government needs to start doing as at like yesterday, not a matter of we're going to we're working it out as we speak right now. Even the 8,000 naira, 8,000 have been promised to people right now. Nobody's saying anything about it. It just goes to show the the unreadiness of government to do the needful. They know what to do.
All right. Now let's look at these statistics again. Um, the fourth quarter, it increased. The unemployment rate in Nigeria increased to 33.30% in the fourth quarter of 2020. It was, before then it was 27.10%. Yeah, from 27.10%, it increased to 33.30% in the fourth quarter of 2022. Now, we know what happened at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We had, preceding the quarter was COVID-19. Do you think that played a role in unemployment? And at the fourth quarter, we had the NSAS protest. Do you think that also played a role in the increase of unemployed youths in Nigeria?
The COVID case, of course, we all know the negative effect it had across the world. But of course, governments of different countries rose up to the challenge to give, to see how they can salvage the situation. Right, Nigeria is not an exception, and I'm tired of hearing the fact that yes, given to the COVID case, yes, of course, but we need to go out of that. The COVID affected everyone, everyone in the world. I mean, every country in the world in entirety shut down. You understand? But of course, government had to rise up to the challenge to see how they can salvage that situation. So the COVID, of course, played a role, but for me, the NSAS really didn't play the role. The NSAS only happened in some specific locations in the country. I'm talking about Lagos, Abuja, Edo State, and I think maybe Port Harcourt. So that in itself, yet didn't really, because the end result as a product of this frustration we're just talking about today. The youths are tired of I mean, there's no job, and yet you frustrate them, you molest them, you harass them. So that in itself, it's as a product, or as that in itself was birthed out of frustration. So that didn't really play much role. My own is to say the government need to stop the blame game. Our fault, or as Nigerians, that you don't know, you are there to fix the problem. You are not there to give us excuses. I'm not here to applaud you that, oh, giving to these challenges and challenges. Yes, those are the odds, and you saw them coming before you took up the position. So you have to fix it. And you have to, in the word of Mr. President, I will hit the ground running. Nigerians need to see you hit the ground running, and the time is now.
All right then. Now, just recently, government started talking about encouraging companies to retain youth corps members. That is, the youth corps members during their service year with them. Do you think this should be pushed further, and will this encourage more employment?
And of course try to not just enforcing companies to retain youth core members. We need to start cutting down on tax. Tax incentive. The government needs to start supporting in funding. I mean, a lot of production company, manufacturers are bleeding. You understand? So it's not about retaining. You can retain, but what does it take for you to service the person? If you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the funding to fund the pay. Would you want to employ someone you can pay? At what point, either the both parties will be frustrated. So government need to do more in terms of breaking all the bureaucracies and access to grants for companies, for SMEs, because SMEs have been proven to be the meter to drive the economy, and as such, it needs to be encouraged.
All right, now you did say something about GSK leaving Nigeria. True that. Uh, GSK is just one company, and when I saw that news, my jaw dropped. And that just further emphasized the way the economy has, the extent to which the economy has degenerated. Now we know that providing power is one thing. The insecurity in some parts of the country could be another thing that is affecting investors. Now, the president, before he came into office, he visited some parts of he was in France, where he said he went to woo investors, and I think he went to the UK as well, where he also was supposed to meet with investors. Do you think that is still on the table? I mean, the president trying to woo investors, and if that's on the table, why haven't we started seeing investors come in? Or is it because there are still issues in court? Talking about the elections now.
Yours as good as mine. Yeah, yours as mine. Yeah, there are a lot of instability. I mean, there are a lot of instability in the economy. One, two, given to the elections, because investors will want to come into a country that is yet to determine its fate. Talking about the tribunal right now. So the president, as it stands right now, the legitimacy of the president is being questioned by international community. So you can see that even in the response to the Niger war and all, and the forth and back. So investors are watching the atmosphere to see how friendly it is for them to, when they invest, would they be able to get their money back? And of course, with their interest. So that is why companies like GSK and other international companies, because of the uncertainty in the economy and of course in the polity, they are kind of trying to observe and see what happens. Yeah, we might start seeing positive outlook from, let's say, to the end of the year, early next year. But for now, the government needs to start putting short-term measures to help. If not, at one point, what happened in Niger might just be I'm not saying, I'm not preempting anything, but what happened in Jay might just be a warm up to what is to happen in Nigeria. However, but like you said, giving to the president trying to woo in investors from France and other foreign countries. Yes, investors are willing to come into Nigeria. Nigeria is a big market. You can't take that away. We're a big market. We're a force to reckon with in the global affairs of things in the world. But the truth is, the polity and of course the economy itself is really shaky, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's not friendly for investors to invest right now.
All right, so we have joining us now Igboke, Ambrose Igboke, Dr. Ambrose Igboke. We have him joining this conversation as well. Good morning to you, Dr. Ambrose. Good morning to you, Ambrose. All right, I think we're having, the same communication issue with Dr. Ambrose Igboke, who is, he is the chairman of Enugu chapter, Guild of Public Affairs Analysts. We seem to be having an issue with him. All right, now let me stay with you, Victor. Now, Victor, we see that what should Nigeria do in terms of, the youths? We have a lot of youths coming into the labor market every year, and there is no job. Uh, we hear government saying, don't just look out for white collar jobs, go look for, create jobs. Now, do you think Nigeria should explore, should go deeper into exploring tech jobs, the tech industry? Do you think that might help create more jobs? And if that will help, what are the things that Nigeria should do in that area?
Of course, I'm an advocate of youth, of course, of youth, creating jobs for themselves, because the truth is there's no longer white collar jobs anywhere. You know, I hear people always reach out to me. Okay, yeah, I'm a Victor. We need a job. We need this. I always tell them you have to create one. But the truth is the environment is not friendly. You can create jobs when you have an enabling environment to do so. We're still battling with life, we're still battling with security, we're still battling of instability in the polity, and a lot of forth and back, so to say. So that in itself, it's troubling. It's troubling. Having said that, what Nigerian youth need to start exploring, most times is there are jobs, but most jobs are very skilled jobs. Like you said, the IT jobs, not majority of youths are yet to exploit that. Yes, we have a lot of youth coming up with coding and coding classes and taking coding, and of course exploring web into the web world and all. I'm not into that much, so but I see them exploring that. But we don't really have a lot of youth who are into this skill, because some companies actually need some specific, skill or some employment. Some employed
Employable
youth in some
skills.
specific skill, and they're yet to get such. But I think they need to explore that, because as we speak right now, the white collar jobs is a no go area. And I also heard that the Senate is trying to ask the government to lift the embargo on employment. And I'm beginning to wonder, you employ more people into the sector. Of course, in Nigeria right now, government is the highest employer of labor, but that shouldn't be the case. That's why we still having a lot of failed, we're having a failed economy, so to say. But right now, the government needs to do more, create more. All the government needs to do is simple: create an enabling environment for SMEs to grow. That is it, and automatically they will grow. Nigerians, they are they are resilient. They work hard. Nigerians are hard workers. We work hard. We're creative. We are we are pushy, trust me, and we are optimistic about greater things to come. But the problem is there's always a wall. There's always a brick wall. Uh, uh, we meet when we try to. when we try to, rise. And of course, that can only be done by the government, providing making sure that there's security, and security is guaranteed for us to go back to the farm, and of course, go back to the farm, and of course, create, juicy. I mean, of course, for us to have a lot of food, and of course, explore and export to the international market, and create an enabling environment for us to strive. So I think youth need to explore more in the IT world, because of course, and explore, because a lot of remote jobs internationally that need um, that needs some specific talents, to fill in. But if we can't get that, of course, we'll keep having this in the market.
All right, then, of course, we'll keep having issues if we don't get it right. Now, let's just chime in on this conversation now. This affects unemployment because it's a conversation that's been ongoing for a while now. The issue of job racketeering, the issue of people having to buy jobs, having to buy job slots with as much as 1.5 million naira. Uh, what's your take on this as it affects unemployment in Nigeria?
I have to start off with a smile, because it has been there. It's just coming to the fore. I mean, in recent years, coming to the fore in recent years, because of course, right now, because of the embargo being placed, on the unemployment in the public sector, the job racketeering has always been there, and of course, it's alarming. It goes to show the deepening corruption in our system, how far it has gone. I mean, imagine one buying a job for about as even as I mean, to 3 million right now, just a job that you don't even know how much you're going to be paid, and they'll backdate it. These are the decay in the system. It has always been there, but it's just coming to the fore recent time, and it's really alarming, so to say. But that is what this government needs to start doing, to see how to put measures in place to tackle these problems. Of course, it cannot be totally eradicated, but to some extent we can have it being checked.
Okay.
But it has always been there, and it will always be.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Victor Tewe, for staying with us and this morning. I must admit we have a little bit of an issue with the audio quality there, but I believe that'll be rectified in a short while. And we'd like for you to stay with us a little longer because we'll be going into another talking point this morning. Now, resident doctors uh, call off nationwide protests with the possibility of putting their industrial action on hold. Now, that's the conversation that we will be delving into in a short while. So, Victor, please do stay with us. And I do hope we'll also be able to include Dr. Ambrose Igboke in this conversation. Well, this conversation comes up when we return after this break.